Hi, everybody, as you're logging on. Hello, y'all. As you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Serena, and I'm the program manager at Compound. We'll just get started here in a couple minutes, just waiting for people to join us. In the meantime, if you'd like to change your preferred name or your preferred pronouns, that way, if you ask any questions later, we can be sure to address you guys appropriately. You can click the top right corner of your own face. It has 3 dots, and if you click there, it says rename, and then you can change your name that way. For example, I have my preferred pronouns here as she and they. That would be great. So yes, welcome you guys. If you are here for the Salt Lounge, you're in the right place. I am so excited to see so many of you here. And if you are able to turn your camera on just to give us like a quick wave, that would be awesome. But we totally respect if you need to turn off your camera as well. Just want to see what lovely people are here today. I'm so excited to be here today too. Yes. All right. So it's, let me let one more people in. All right, so it's about 4:04, so I'm just gonna get started with a little bit of Zoom etiquette and just talking about Compound. Before we get started with all of that, I just want to say welcome to everyone. We are so excited to have you here today, and I really wanted to introduce Wes Holder of the Salt Lounge of downtown Long Beach. Given a wave. And the Salt Lounge is a space where wellness and good vibes collide to provide a unique experience in healing, spiritual growth, and overall well-being. The Salt Lounge is known not only for their crystal-infused Himalayan salt room, but also for their wellness workshops and other services that they have available to help enhance the mind, body, and spirit. Today, we ask that you please keep yourself on mute unless you have a question. Please feel free to use the chat. It's a little speech bubble at the bottom of your Zoom bar. We also have closed captions available today. You can hit the CC bar at the bottom of, or button at the bottom of your Zoom bar. And if you click enable subtitles, then you are able to see the subtitles in English today. And I'd really love if you guys could show some love and help us keep the energy going with reactions. So with the reactions, there is a smiley. Oh, I see some coming in. So there's a smiley face at the bottom of your screen. Something shows up right here that helps spark joy. I'm just going to try one right now. Awesome. If you guys can try it out too, just to show me that you've got it and we can show Tanai and Wes some love. Awesome. I love seeing these all coming in. Great. And yes, we want to thank you guys. And we realize that a healing space can sometimes be an emotional space. So we want to know that all of your feelings are welcome here and valid. If there's anything that resonates with you, please feel free to share reaction. We're all here to support and love on each other. And with that, I think I will turn it over to Tanai and Wes to keep us going. So welcome, and so excited to have you guys.
Hey, thank you so much. We are so excited to be here. We have a great workshop planned for you all today, helping you tap into your intuition and just take things up a notch as we go throughout this year and the rest of your life. But first, we will start, we'll introduce ourselves, and then we'll take some deep breaths to get us grounded and in the moment and get started.
Yeah, so I guess I'll introduce myself. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Wes Holder, one of the owners of the Salt Lounge here in Long Beach. I'm an intuitive healer. I am all about the mind, body, and spirit. And really, my goal is just to help others tap into their gifts because we're all very intuitive. And my goal is just to help people trust that intuition. So I'm really excited about today, and I know it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, and my name is Tanai Holder. I am an intuitive healer as well, Reiki master and spiritual teacher, and we are the owners of the Salt Lounge here in Long Beach. If you haven't come visit, we are a wellness space all about the mind, body, and spirit, as Wes said. And it's so important to us that you are aware and knowledgeable of the power that you have within so that you can use your tools and resources to live your best life. And that's really why we created this workshop today. You want to talk about why?
When we sat and thought about our why with the workshop, we realized so many of us, and I'm sure everyone in this workshop today, grew during this pandemic. I mean, we learned so much about
Hell yeah, I
ourselves,
did.
right? We learned so much about our feelings. We learned so much about our emotions. We really had the time to just go within. And I think that the pandemic affected everyone differently, but I would say something that all of us can share in common is we had an opportunity to just see what was going on underneath the hood. And so with that, we felt like this was very important to now take that up a notch. Coming out of the pandemic, it's like, okay, what can we do for ourselves to continue to grow, continue to learn, to continue to elevate? And so that's why I'm excited about today.
Right. And so this all starts with trusting ourselves and kind of figuring out what exactly our intuition is to begin with. And everybody has a different interpretation of what your intuition is. I feel like it's moving from the heart. Everybody knows like what's on their heart, what their heart is telling them to do. But a lot of people feel like it's a gut feeling, and they're both accurate because you know what your gut is telling you. You know, if I shouldn't go this way, or I shouldn't go left, or I shouldn't go right. And I'm pretty sure that anytime you've listened to your gut, it hasn't stirred you or in the wrong direction. So trusting yourself is the biggest takeaway. If you don't take away anything from this workshop, it is that once you trust yourself, the more you practice that trust, the greater your connection with your intuition will be.
One of the cool things we like to share with our students is we all have that inner voice. And an example of this is, think about it. I'm gonna throw a question out there. If you're the one that's speaking in your mind, then who's listening? Right? It can't be. So when you really sit and think about it, that shows, there is a difference between the mind and the brain. And the brain is what's listening, but the mind is what's speaking. And so when we can really slow down and just ease into that and listen to that inner voice, we automatically see that we have inner guidance every single step of the day. But a lot of times we get in our own way, right? We like, oh, that can't be that easy. But really, we're all gifted. And so today we're going to not only dive into this a little bit deeper, but we're going to start looking at the different ways that that inner voice speaks to you. Because for some of us, it's a little different. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but see, y'all get me excited already. Let me slow down a little bit. Let me slow down. Okay. All right.
Well, we can start with our deep breaths to get us grounded.
Okay.
So we want everybody to just get nice and centered so that you can connect with your intuition. So if everyone wants to close their eyes and just take a deep breath in and let it out. Good job. Take another deep breath in and let it out. And taking one last big deep breath in and holding it. And when you let this breath out, let out any stress, any nervousness, any anxiety, and just breathe. Letting it all out. And as you continue to breathe in and out, you can place your hands over your heart or over your stomach to connect further with yourself and your intuition today. Setting the intention to grow closer to yourself, to be able to hear that inner voice, hear that guidance, and hear that wisdom as you move forward. Also, setting the intention to be able to recognize that without any doubt, fear, or distractions.
Most importantly, allowing yourself to trust that direction, trust that guidance, trust that inner wisdom.
All right, you can open your eyes. And we will start this conversation with, you mentioned the mind, body, and spirit connection. So we'll flow right into that.
Okay, so let's just jump on in. How does this whole thing work? What's this whole thing about? It's really simple. And so what our goal is today is really to explain how simple it is. If there are any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat.
Yes.
Tanai and I's teaching style is we like to interact with our audience. So if you got any questions, please drop it in. I just asked if you save all the good jokes to the end, because I know there's probably someone want to share some jokes with us and we like to laugh. So just save the jokes for the end. But anything that you have a question on, please go and drop it in. And we're going to try to answer as many as we can. So just to kind of give you an idea of how this energy works is I want you to look at yourself as a three-part being. And what I mean by that is we always hear the term mind, body, spirit, right? We hear it all the time, mind, body, spirit. Well, I want to explain to you how that works on the energy side. So the way it works is our spirit is what has the idea. Our mind is what actually recognizes it and hears it. And then our body is what acts that out. And so when you kind of listen to it and flow in that sequence, you see how the spirit is the one that has the message for you. Or we can look at it as an Amazon package, right? I'm sure everyone here has Amazon. So spirit is like, your spirit is like delivering the package, whereas your mind is the one that's answering the door like, oh, okay, I got an Amazon package. And then your body is what's opening that package up. Does that make sense? And so when you can kind of flow with that mind, body, spirit aspect, it really allows you to say, you know what? Okay, let me sit down and pay attention to why I keep having this idea. Why do I keep having this idea that I should start this project? Or another way spirit might speak to you is you might be driving down the street and you constantly hear the same song. I can't think of a song as an example, but you constantly hear the same song and there's one sentence in that song that makes you say, And then you flip on TV that night and you're watching a commercial and you might hear that same sentence again. Let's say the sentence is now is the time. But you've been asking yourself all week long, is now the time? Is now the time? Now the time? Well, spirit will use commercials, billboards, music. Even a friend might walk in the room and say, now's the time, and then walk out the room. But it's interesting to see that when we start putting out a request, or we start having an idea, or we start feeling a certain way, you'll constantly receive nudges throughout your day that confirms that. Where we get in the way is we will shut that off.
Doubt. Doubt is the biggest killer of your intuitive gifts. So we want to teach you today how to recognize the different ways that spirit might communicate with you, because it's going to be unique to each person. Some people might hear things, some people might see things, some people might feel things, and they're all accurate. It's just what works for you specifically is what works for you. But you can't doubt it once you feel it, see it, or hear it. So the first type, and they're called clairs, that we will go over, this is how you recognize your intuition, would be clairvoyance. And that's spelled, for anybody who's taking notes, CLAIRVOYANCE, clairvoyance. And that means to see clearly. So this is one type of intuition where for people who have visions, people who daydream, people who have very vivid dreams. A lot of these people may be artists, photographers, decorators. They are the ones who may be very familiar with clairvoyance. In an example, I'm very clairvoyant. I will be sleeping at night, have a vision of how my daughter's party is going to go. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm not thinking about this party, anything like that. But when the pieces come together, it's exactly the vision that I saw, which works in my favor because I kind of got a cheat pass on everything I needed, everything that I saw, and it makes life easier because I don't have to figure it out. That is a download for my spirit. Like, hey, if you can follow these directions, you can fulfill this vision. Here's some ease in your life.
And if you have experiences, because we love interaction, I just want you to drop a 1 in the chat. Just drop a 1 if you've experienced vision or you know someone that has visions. Because as we go through this, you might find that you have more than one. So if you don't have this one, that's okay. But if you do have this one, That's cool. Drop a 1 in there. Let's go.
So for all the people who have visions, you know you're not crazy. Yes, you're really having visions. All the people trying to wake up their third eye, I mean, there's things that comes with that. If you're opening your third eye, you are opening yourself up to see things in a different way than you may have before. And we are sometimes shunned as a child when it comes to daydreaming, but daydreaming is so important to us because that is a part of being clairvoyant. So when you shut that down, not only do you shut down your own personal dreams, but those could be gifts from whatever it is, whoever it is you may believe in, that can help lead the way. The next one, any questions about clairvoyance? Okay, awesome. And if you do, feel free to put them in the chat. We will get to them. The next one is clairaudience, and that means to hear clearly. This can be people who are very musically sound. Also, if you just hear things come to you, a lot of people hear spirits or they hear themselves speaking to them. You might hear words. When Wes mentioned recognizing the messages in the music, that's an example of clairaudience. I always hear these songs, they're communicating to me and they help me connect with different aspects of my life. People, what did you have something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so aside from musicians, public speakers, singers, writers, anyone generally in that field or around that field taps into this gift at some point along their career. And we take it for granted because a lot of these things that we've been doing our entire life, we just say, anyone could do that. But that's a gift. That's an intuitive gift.
And a lot of times you hear your intuition, you hear your highest self, the highest version of yourself speaking to you, but you think you're just crazy or you shoo it away. So a lot of times when you hear your intuition, you may hear you need to go do this, or you should do this, or it's more like someone else speaking to you rather than I'm going to the store today because this feels like this. So don't ignore that inner voice because a lot of times that's you connecting with your highest self and you already experiencing clairaudience and you might not even know it. Oh, you feel that's not possible? Exactly, because you listen to naysayers. Doubters, naysayers are killers of intuition. This is all a self journey.
So we're going to get into what actually hinders our intuition. And so I'm glad you mentioned that. We're going to talk about that in a few. So
yes. Any clairaudient people in the room?
Drop a 2 if you're clairaudient.
Drop a 2. Clairaudient, or you might hear voices. People feel crazy when they hear voices, and sometimes we are crazy, but a lot of times you are clairaudient. Yes, 2s. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Speaking of feeling crazy, because you definitely go through that at some point of your journey. I'll never forget. I was a little kid, and I was with my grandma for the summer. My mom dropped me off at my grandma's house for the summer. She didn't even tell me she was dropping me off. She just said, "Hey, we're gonna go visit grandma." And I'm like, okay. And I wake up and mom went back home and I'm still with grandma. So I was like a little upset about that. But anyway, my grandma and I became best friends that summer. And so I'm kind of glad she did. But I'll never forget, I was laying in the bed one day at my grandma's house and it was a beautiful Sunday morning. I remember it clear as day. And I'm laying in my bed and I hear, "Wesley." I look around.
I don't hear things like that because spirit knows that I don't want to communicate that way. I don't want to hear no whispers. I don't want to hear anything like that. But Wes, that's fine for him. He can hear it all. Don't talk to me like that. I don't want to hear it.
I was not prepared for this moment at all. You know, as a kid, you watch these scary movies, and I think like The Sixth Sense just came out around that time. So I really was like freaking out. And so my eyes get big. I hear it again, "Wesley." And then at this point, I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. And then I hear, "Grandpa." And I jumped up because my grandpa passed away. My grandma, and my grandpa have been married for decades. And yeah, so the face, right? That was my emoji. That was me. I was that emoji, that shocked emoji. I jumped out of my bed and I darted into my grandma's room and I didn't want any parts of any kind of hearing anything. And I haven't heard anything for probably 10, 15 years since then. And so what's interesting about these gifts are if you push them away, "I don't want this, I don't want to hear this," your intuition will honor that. And so if you've experienced this in the past, you don't have it anymore, that's okay. It can come back around full circle, but it's so important to embrace these things because when we push it away, it'll go away. And then we kind of got to work a little bit harder to bring it back in. So really celebrating yourself if you're dropping a 1 or dropping a 2, because you're gifted, and it's important to acknowledge that.
Right. And you're inviting it in. And that goes, all of these are, I guess it's like all like a spectrum. So clairvoyance, I can have visions or I can see things and implement them. But like Wes said with the spirits and hearing, like I don't want to see a spirit. So I kind of cut it off. That's where I draw the line. I'm like, show me all the things that I can build and use this tool in this way, but I'm not interested in anything like that. Or Wes, he said he shut it off, so he didn't hear anything in that aspect. And that's totally okay. Do you often hear those messages in your own voice? Yes. So that was the first time I recognized personally that I was clairaudient, because I'd hear my own voice telling me all of these things and I kind of just ignored it, thinking I was crazy. But that was my intuition speaking to me the whole time. Once I recognized it, I was like, oh my gosh, like this record has been playing this whole time and I had no idea. It sounds like your voice. Your intuition doesn't sound like Mufasa in the sky. It doesn't sound like James Earl Jones, none of that. It sounds like you, because you are the closest to yourself. It's familiar.
I know someone was hoping it sounded like Beyonce, but no, sorry.
Sometimes my intuition sounds like Beyonce. You can speak for yourself. Let's see. Slowly coming back after I push them away. I'm a big one. Awesome. Awesome. Beautiful. So we went over clairvoyance, clairaudience, and the last one, well, not the last one, but the next one is clairsentience, and that is clear feeling. So all of our empaths in here, people who can be very closely connected with somebody, or you walk into a room and you feel the energy, or even if somebody touches you and you feel, oh, this person has good energy, this feels like home, or hell no, I'm not down with this energy, I need to step away. That is clairsentience, the feeling. And it can be physical or it can be energetic. They both work the same way, but that is a lot of times what triggers our gut feeling. So you sense the energy in the room and your intuition goes, we need to get out of here, or this is a safe space, open up, make yourself available to share yourself with the room.
An example of this is maybe you went to work today and you noticed that your coworker's just having a really bad day. Didn't say a word to you, they're just typing on their computer, but you can just feel they're having a bad day.
It's like three big.
Another one that this is really common for are our parents. Moms in particular, you know if your child is sick today, right? They didn't even have to go into the whole, no, you just know my child is not feeling well today and I'm going to nurture my child. So this is a clair that automatically kicks in as you enter motherhood or fatherhood. And it's such a beautiful thing, but it can go so much further than just you and your child. And so that's what's really cool about it.
Yeah, a lot of people who embrace this clair, they may be therapists, doctors, counselors, caregivers, because they can sense how people feel. They can sense discomfort, and they know how to bring ease into a situation. A lot of times, maybe if you don't feel so connected to clairsentience, if you ever listen to music and you got chills, that's an example of being clairsentient in that moment. And these can fluctuate, as sometimes you may feel more clairvoyant and at other times you may feel more clairsentient, or you might have an experience where all of them are just running wild and you feeling everything, seeing everything, and that's all okay. Do we have, I saw some people put threes, but we'll officially ask, do we have any threes in the house?
Hey, good stuff.
Yeah, with the, it's hard to hold that energy. Yes, it's very important for people who are clairsentient to protect their energy, whether that's knowing when, hey, it's time to go home, or hey, I need to retreat to recharge. A lot of introverts tend to be threes because they're feeling everything and they know that what they need to create a sacred space to fill themselves up again.
So let's kind of talk about that. So for those of us who feel so much, and sometimes this causes anxiety and you just have to leave, one of the things that we tell a lot of our clients, or even a lot of our students, an easy way to really help control this energy so you don't feel every single thing that's going on around you is, I would highly suggest, on days where maybe you have to be out and about, or you have to be out in public, or you got to go to this event, use that as a day to tie your hair up. Because believe it or not, our hair is an antenna. And so when our hair is down, it's literally picking up so much more around us. But if you use that day to wear a hat, or you put your hair in a ponytail, or wear a hood, this can really help you close off some of that external feeling of everything around you.
Mm-hmm. Now, for my folks who don't have hair, which you would be included. You can't tie that up. I like to use visualization techniques to help. So I picture a white bubble around myself. And I just picture that white bubble protecting me and securing my energy and not allowing anything in and out that is not of me, because maybe that particular day, I do it every day, but maybe you need a stronger white bubble that day because you're like, I just really can't give like I need to. So you can just picture a strong white bubble, and it can go at starting at 5 feet to 50 feet out, and it will help protect your energy.
If there's any of us in the group who loves crystals, some suggested crystals that I would recommend are tourmaline.
That's a good protective stone.
Obsidian. Those are like the go-to if you are always feeling, and those are it's another really good protective stone. You just keep it in your pocket, and those
clear quartz is good. Serena has some beautiful selenite earrings, which those are great for protection. So she was already on it. She didn't even know, but she is keeping her energy clear. Selenite clears all clear crystals and energy.
And then lastly, if you don't have long hair and you don't have access to crystals, another way to really shield yourself off so you don't have any anxiety attacks or you just feel too much that day is consider wearing black that day. So wearing black is a really good alternative. It's a shielding color, so that helps protect your energy. The way that works is you won't pick up on anyone else's feelings and energy, but they also won't feel yours. So it's one of those things where you won't give off too much and you won't receive too much. It just allows you to be in the space. So those are a couple different ways to navigate if you have this clair, and sometimes it gets a little wacky for you, but you still have to move and be productive and get things done that day.
We'll go over the other two. So we have two more, clair aliens, which is clear smelling. So you might be like, how can smelling like help me connect with anything in life or my intuition? But there is a great connection with smell and like the spirit world. So for example, when I know I'm going to go through some big changes or something's about to happen, I might wake up in the middle of the night and tell Wes, he freaks out sometimes. I'm like, I smell death. Like it smells like rotten in the air or something is wild.
And my response, this is like 3 a.m. Babe, I already took out the trash. What are you talking about? There's no trash. What's going on?
Yeah, but for me, that smell of death, even though I know it's not fun, it's transformation. So it's like energy literally dying. And I know that a big change is going to come and it's on its way.
And every time it happens, we'll either get some kind of opportunity or we're going to move or something happens. It does. And so now when she smells it, all right, I'm ready for the ride.
Yeah. A lot of times, if you believe that your ancestors, that you can still connect with the spirit world, this particular clair can connect you with your loved ones who may have passed on. So maybe your grandfather passed on and he was a heavy cigarette smoker. And then there's times where you're just feeling in your space and you smell cigarettes and there's no cigarettes around. It doesn't make sense. That could be an example of him trying to communicate and let you know, hey, I'm here. You're protected. I hear what you've been asking, what you've been calling on. I feel your love. So that would be an example. Anything else?
Let's see.
That one. A lot of people who connect with this clair may be florists, wine tasters, or people who like to mix oils and create different concoctions.
Perfume makers, essential oil makers. These individuals in these career paths use this clair, and that's how they're able to create what they do. And it's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Side note, rose is one of the highest vibrating scents. So if you ever want to use that clair and the power of smell to elevate your space or yourself, rose oil, rose fragrance is really good at that with uplifting the vibes. And the last one.
Oh, wait, we got to know. Hey, drop a 4, guys.
Oh yeah, anybody got a 4?
If anyone's experienced this one before. Okay, awesome. All right.
Yes, that is why rose essential oil is so expensive. Every time I'm trying to get in the mood, I'm like, gotta pull the trigger on that rose. It's a lot, but it works. Okay, good. We have some 4s. Okay, And the last one we'll go over is clairgustance, and that is clear tasting. So this is somebody who can actually taste and feel things, or who actually can feel things and receive messages through food. And you might be like, what the hell does that mean, through food? I'm not walking around trying to pick up messages, but I bet you have. So have you ever gone somewhere and you tasted the food, or say you go to grandma's house or a family member's house and you taste the food and you're like, this feels like love. Like, you know that she put all her love into it, he put all his love into it. That would be an example of having that clear tasting. Or you go eat some fast food and you're like, ooh, this is not right. This is something ain't right here. And you put it down. That is an example of having that sense to feel and experience your intuition through food. This is really important right now. I just want to say this real quick because a lot of us are ordering out food, and you want to be mindful of who's cooking your food because everything's energy. So if somebody's having a bad day, and they're cooking your food, guess where that energy goes? Right into your food. And if you're not so familiar with this food or familiar with this clair, you might not pick up that, hey, maybe this is not what I should be eating right now. But if you are familiar, you might taste the difference in the food. So that's why this one is important.
Not necessarily even takes a difference in the food, but just feel a difference in how you feel.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you're feeling a little sad, or you're just not feeling like you were 45 minutes ago. Well, a lot of times could be because the person who's making your food might have been rushing, might have been overwhelmed, might have just been trying to get the job done. And now for some reason you're feeling a little rushed, or you're feeling not like you were previously. And so these are some of the ways where you can be mindful of this.
And you have to set boundaries. It's so important. I remember I had a friend and she was going through a breakup and she's trying to tell me all this over cooking dinner. I'm like, girl, I would love to talk to you, but we cannot talk while you're making the food. I don't want breakup energy, broke energy, heavy, sad energy. I don't want none of that in my food. I'm here to live my best life. And so you have to make sure that you are going to places where you have great customer service and you know they're putting love in the food. Or if you're cooking food for someone else, that you are in your best mood so that they get the best energy when they walk away.
Or if you're going to do some cooking tonight, do something that's going to help raise your vibration first. And so we'll talk about some of the ways where you can raise your vibration to enhance your intuition. But just in the meantime, take a little note. Okay, first let me do something that's going to make me feel good. And then I'm going to cook dinner tonight. And that energy is going to get reinforced, and it's going to allow you to really experience the most out of that meal.
Yes.
There's been so many times where I've tried to remake like my grandma's crab cakes, and she gave me the recipe. I do everything I can, but it's never the same. And it's that love. You're tasting that love that only grandma has, and it just is what it is. But now, next time you go visit that relative or you get a chance to have that meal from one of your favorite people, you can really taste it and savor it so much more because you know what? They're putting so much more than just some salt and pepper and some, cilantro on this thing.
And it's good. So people who experience this clair and it's heightened, they may be chefs, they may be bakers, they may be food critics even. All of those people will have that clair very strongly. Any
Wine
fives in the house?
tasters.
Yeah. Any fives in the house? 5, 5, 5. Let's see. When I make cookies for other people and they're in a good mood, you see how happy they are? Yep, perfect. It takes me to the farmer's market and teaches me about vegetables. Yep, all of that is very important. So those are the 5 clairs. So now, based on those, you can see what you should be looking out for. You can say, okay, I'm going to have a journal by my bedside because I know I have a lot of dreams, but maybe I don't remember them after a certain point. So when I wake up, I'm going to journal immediately to record what happened in my dreams. Or when I'm hearing something, I'm going to be more mindful of what I'm hearing, what songs are replaying in my mind, and maybe jot that down so I can see what message is for me. Or I'm going to pay attention more to how I feel around a certain person. Maybe every time I'm around this person, I feel uncomfortable. So I'm going to try to distance myself from them to honor what I'm feeling and to further trust myself. All the other dream forgetters out there. Yes. And it all takes practice. The biggest thing is that the more you pay attention, the more you practice, the more you will be gifted more heightened intuition, and that it'll be much easier for you to recognize each of these.
So let's let's talk about that for a second. The example of practice, right? So we'll go back to let's go back to the way we get the message. So again, spirit gets the message, the mind processes the message, and then the body feels it out and executes it. And so it's so important for us to trust. We have to trust ourselves. I'm gonna repeat it again. We have to trust ourselves. We have to trust ourselves. Because what happens is when you trust yourself, your spirit team is like, okay, you know what? They got that message. We're gonna turn up the volume now. And so now it becomes easier to receive the message, and it gets easier for you to do what you're intuitively being guided to do because you're trusting and you're surrendering into your gifts. And so it's so important to not second guess yourself. And it takes time. So if you do find yourself second guessing yourself, you can write it out, or you can say, you know what, we're not going to do this today. Or you can just take that leap of faith. But it does get easier and easier through time. Mm-hmm. And so again, these are just some of the ways where you can turn that volume up. But again, it's always starting with not second guessing yourself.
Mm-hmm. And it never ends. We're still finding ways that we can heighten our intuition. And the more we trust, we grow even more. I was telling Wes, I was like, oh, my intuition's on point. Well, it's because I was listening and following through on the visions that I got, and I was rewarded for it. It makes life easier. So it's not just, yes, I understand myself, but these are tools that you can use throughout your life to get you where you want to be. Let's see, does 3 also apply to animals and being able to sense their emotions? Yes, absolutely. Everything is energy. And so anything that I would say feels, but Wes, he can communicate or feel how plants need to, what they need. If his plant needs more water or if it's happy or not, everything is energy. So yes, you can feel your animals, your plants, the energy outside. 3, you would definitely be able to do that. It's having faith and getting blessed repeatedly because you believed it could happen. Absolutely. I have very vivid dreams, but I always feel like they don't make sense. So I would just start with writing them down, just acknowledging them first, and then eventually you will see what the connection is the more you acknowledge them. I Google a lot of stuff. Sometimes I don't know what my dreams mean, and I'll Google it, dream interpretations, and eventually you kind of put the pieces together, but it's all practice. So now we are going to talk about things that can affect your intuition, because we are all vessels for spirit, vessels for this information, this intuition to flow through us. But if we are not the cleanest filter, you can picture yourself as if you were a filter on a water faucet. If the filter's dirty, you're going to get dirty water. If the filter's clean, then you're going to get clean water. So we want to make sure that we are practicing very positive things to make sure we're the cleanest filter so that we can clearly interpret our message and that we are feeling our best. Go ahead.
Okay. So some of the things that interfere with our intuition. Binge watching television. When we binge watch, what happens is it puts our brain into a beta state. And so we're automatically kind of, you zone out. And before you know it, half the day is gone by, right? And sometimes if we're eating, we might get through that whole tub of ice cream and not even realize it. And it's because we go into a beta state. And so when we're in that space, it's really tough to hear that inner voice. Remember, we talked about the 3 ways that spirit, mind, body. You're pretty much cutting off that spirit, that inner voice when you're locked in on television. And so what you can do, because, hey, look, there's been some good shows on during this pandemic, y'all. I know Netflix has gotten me. All right. I'm with you. Hulu,
we
Disney
got all
Plus,
the apps right now.
HBO Max. I mean, it's bad. I know. So what you can do
girls.
is you can really set times of the day. One of the things that I encourage is staying away from electronics, cell phones, television, computers, first thing in the morning, as well as right before bedtime. And so if you can make it where you don't jump on your phone first thing in the morning and maybe just go the first hour of the day with no cell phone, this allows you to really connect, hear that voice, process your feelings, hear the messages that you need to hear. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the day, a lot of times we'll fall asleep watching that show. And then before we know it, we're having a dream of us running from a mountain-sized cupcake and we don't know what's going on. Well, it's because we go to sleep in that energy, and our brain is like a recorder. It's processing what's going on. And so what you can do is maybe set some time in the evening to just do something for you. This could be a time to do some journaling or do some stretching or just listen to some music even. But this will allow you to go to sleep in a good space as well as wake up in a good space. And then you just catch your shows midday, you know what I'm saying, or early evening. But this just allows you to start creating the space, because again, TV is the easiest way to cut it, and we all need TV because it's a part of our lives. So it's just important for us to gauge when we watch television and work with that.
Yes. Now, you can know when to use this. Nobody's saying don't ever watch TV again because you want to be connected to your intuition all the time. Sometimes I want to turn my intuition off. I don't want to hear everything that's going on with everybody. I don't want to see all the visions I need to see. Sometimes I just want to be a regular human, and I don't feel like being all intuitive. So that is when I'll binge watch my Netflix or whatever, because I know I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not even trying to connect in that way. And that's totally okay. We are here to be humans and have human experiences, although we're very powerful spirits. And you just want to watch some Netflix. I watched all of Ozark during this time, and I had a great time. And that's totally fine. But when I am ready to get my intuition up, I know what I need to do to fill my spirit back up. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So other things that can affect your intuition could be the products that you use and put on your body. Fluoride in the toothpaste calcifies your third eye. And for all our clairvoyant folks and all of everybody's intuition, you want to make sure you are trying to use the cleanest products as possible. There's a lot of mess. Turn your products over and see what's in there. And if you can't pronounce them, a lot of times that's not good for you, and it messes with your third eye, and that's done intentionally. That's not a secret.
And so switching to a fluoride-free toothpaste, it might sound wacky, but if you want to turn up that volume, an easy way to do so without having to do too much adjustments is just switching to a fluoride-free toothpaste. You could Google one and a ton will pop up. They even have some at Walmart now, but there are easy ways to make that adjustment. Another one, aluminum. So many of us have aluminum in our deodorant and we don't even know it. We put deodorant on. This right here is right next to the heart. It's right next to the lungs. There's so many key organs that get affected.
Next to the breasts.
The breast. And so aluminum is a heavy metal. And so what we would highly suggest is switching to a deodorant that is aluminum free. Me, during the pandemic, I did a little science experiment on myself. And I wanted to see if there was a way where I could not need deodorant. I've been eating clean, you know what I'm saying? Doing everything I can. It's just me, Tanai, and the baby. So if I'm a little musty, you know, it's just them that got to deal with me. And so what I stumbled into was lemon. A slice of lemon goes a long way. Try it out. Hey, I mean,
it worked for you.
It did. Yeah. Quarantine's over. So people in the outside world might be affected by it a little bit, but it works, y'all. Like, I'm at the point where I use lemon once a week, and it's just after the shower, boom, boom, little slice, and I don't need it anymore. I don't need to even use deodorant. But if you are using deodorant, especially if you're very active, opt for an aluminum-free deodorant. If you don't know if you have aluminum in your deodorant, most likely you do, but just switch over to the back and see. And the reason why I say most likely you do is because most deodorants that are on the front shelf carry aluminum, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, cool. We have toothpaste suggestions in the chat. Okay.
Oh, good stuff. All right.
A lot of you have tried experimenting with your deodorant. Let's see. One quick question. Do you do different kinds of meditations? Yes. And Wes actually posted on the Salt Lounge, our Instagram page, different ways to meditate. So if y'all want to check that out, that's a great way, because there are different ways to meditate that make it very easy for you.
And that could be found at the Salt Lounge LB on Instagram.
Thank you for joining us. And then let's see, how often do you meditate? And how long do you meditate?
I meditate daily. The time that I meditate is in the morning. One of the things that I try to educate everyone on is your intuition is highest in the morning. So for me, that's the easiest time to meditate. End of the day could be a little bit tougher because you figure you've been putting fires out all day. So it might be a little tougher to really get into a relaxed meditative state, but I still encourage it because any meditation is better than no meditation. But
Mhm.
I choose to do so first thing in the morning when I wake up. And that just allows me to kind of set the pace for the day.
Yeah.
That just allows me to gain any insight that I need. And it just allows me to connect to the heart space.
I used to use apps. I would meditate more often. I don't meditate in the traditional sense as I would before. So before I would sit down, close my eyes, listen to music, all those good things. But now I like to do more active things like dancing. That's a form of meditation. Or just laying down and just simply like reflecting on my thoughts. But a good app to use is Insight Timer. INSHIGT. It's like a little singing bowl on your phone. And that's a great one because you can make your own meditations, but you can also listen to guided meditations or beats or music. They have it all on there. There's classes on there too, I think. Somebody uses the Shine app. Cool. Other things that may have an effect on your intuition could be alcohol or drugs, which would seem obvious, but those are, well, one, alcohol it's not called spirits for no reason. Alcohol definitely heightens you and opens you up to things in a different way, and it cuts off your intuition. Some people, it heightens their intuition and they're talking to spirits and all kinds of things. But most of the time, without an intention set, alcohol and any kind of drug can affect your intuition. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. So we're not saying don't drink because, again, we're humans. We got to have a good time. It's all about, it's celebrating life, but moderation. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
and be intentional, because if you're expecting to have a drink every night and your intuition to be super high, it's most likely not going to go hand in hand. Some people are and use that as a spiritual tool, but you have to be very intentional with how you use that. So now we'll talk about things that can raise your intuition and raise your vibration. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So one of the things that we highly encourage when it comes to really building and strengthening your intuition is practice, 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 practice. How can you practice, right? What are the ways to easily practice? Well, a method that I like to do, and this is just when I'm goofing around with Tanai, is every time we're in a commercial building that has elevators, right? We've all been to maybe like, I don't know, a bank or a parking garage where you have like 3 or 4 elevators, right? That to get into the mall, for example. Well, one of the things I like to do, try this next time you go out, is next time you're about to get into the elevator, just take a deep breath in, deep breath out, press the elevator button, and then let your intuition guess which elevator door is going to open up. It's an easy, fun thing to do that if you get it wrong, no big deal. You just try again next time you get on the elevator. But if you get it right, it's really cool. And you're like, hey. So this is an easy way where you can just kind of work on your intuition and strengthen your intuition and have fun.
And use those same clairs. So if you are somebody who's very visual, try to picture which elevator door is going to open. If you're somebody who's clairaudient, you're going to listen to your intuition and hear 1, 2, or 3, or whatever it is. If you're somebody who feels, then you're going to feel which way you would lean towards the elevator. Another trick that I like to use is kind of just like impulse. And so now when we go to restaurants, because I'm sure there's other people in here who have this problem, I cannot decide what I want to eat. And it was causing problems in my life, even when I'm trying to decide at home. So I don't give myself too much time to ponder on the menu. I'm like, okay, intuition, tell me, what do I need? Bam. And then I select. And most of the time I'm right. Sometimes I'm like, intuition was a little off today. That wasn't really the meal I wanted. But practicing and allowing myself to just move with my gut feeling has definitely helped me.
And then another way too, you can really just have fun with it is one of the things we try to do on our social media page is we do intuitive challenges. So what we'll do once a week, we're gonna get back in the rhythm of it, is we will post 3 items that's in our store, the Salt Lounge, and we'll have you take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and just listen to that inner voice on which item it is that we're gonna select. And you just swipe on over and see if you got it right this week or not. But if you didn't get it right, no problem. You could try again the following week. But that's something that we try to do just to help our community because we're all very intuitive. Again, it's just all about exercising that muscle. And so this is some of the easy ways where you can exercise that muscle throughout your day without having to, really risk it all in a sense.
Yeah. Other things that you can do that are easy, eating high vibrational alive foods. So things that aren't cooked as much or things that aren't processed, that automatically gives you the energy that you need to connect with your intuition on a deeper level. And getting outside. Mother Nature is the most intuitive energy around. And so connecting with Mother Earth, that definitely helps boost your intuition. And alone time helps too, because you get to explore um, how your intuition is communicating with you. So that's great. Let's see. What signs are you guys?
Take a guess. What y'all think?
Let's see. This is dangerous in a shopping context. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, yep. See, y'all already know. We are both Aries. Very.
See, look at y'all use that intuition. This is what I'm talking about.
Come through already.
Yeah, we're two Aries.
So yes, that's what we got. Any questions? Any questions on how you can tap into your intuition anymore? Do you need clarification on anything?
Anything we need to go back over? This is the time where we like to talk to our group and just kind of see how you guys are feeling.
Does everybody feel, well, I said everybody, but do you feel more confident in recognizing your intuition? Let me see, like a hand raise, or you could drop a 1 in the chat. Yes. Yeah. Good. Yay. Yes, trust is the biggest thing. Go ahead, Gabrielle. You got all of them. That's great.
Yo, this was so much fun. And we're just thankful that everyone joined us today. This is something that we love to talk about. And so if you're interested in learning more, we actually have courses available where you can check out more ways to tap into your intuition. So you could check out soulworkacademy.com. If you're interested in learning Reiki, or if you're interested in learning ways to manifest, or if you're interested in all kind of stuff, you can check us out.
And the Salt Lounge too. Hopefully we'll have in-person events again, but we host them virtually, and we love doing things like this. So Compound, we are down for more if you like. Let's see. Oh, can you tell us about Reiki? Awesome. Thank you for putting that in the chat. Can you review for me how the body is responsible for executing the best response to intuition?
So really just paying attention to how you feel. A lot of times you can feel when you're going against the flow, or if it's just flowing for you. So again, going back to it, right? So spirit delivers the message to the mind processes it, and the body acts it out. And so when you feel like you're just kind of like walking in sludge, right? Like it's just off, right? Something's just off. That is an indicator right there in itself that, you know what, maybe I need to pause and reevaluate. This doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it wrong or you're out of alignment, but it's maybe there's something in this that you need to see differently. And so paying attention to how you feel is the most important thing. And the body is quick to tell you how you feel when you just stop and ask it.
Right. And someone had a question about Reiki. So we're both Reiki practitioners, and that's what we specialize here at the Lounge. Reiki Masters, yes. And so how I can describe Reiki in the easiest way is that our body is always communicating with us all the time. But a lot of times we're not hearing it. And so sometimes we might have pain in our shoulder, or we might have pain in our knee, or we might just feel a little heartache. That's really our body's way of communicating to us, but we're just not understanding it. So through Reiki, not only do we release and get to the root of whatever is causing this discomfort in your body, but we can actually connect with your body in a way to help you figure out what it is. So if your shoulder is hurting, you may be holding a lot of weight from other people, or you might be putting too much pressure on yourself. And through Reiki, we can relieve that. And you can know how you should navigate your life. You're like, okay, I'm putting too much pressure on myself. How can I be more nurturing? And we discussed that throughout the session. But overall, it's a no contact service here, but in other places, sometimes they touch. But it feels like a massage without the touch. So you're very relaxed. A lot of people fall asleep right on the table. And it's just as if I'm going over Wes's body like this, and I can help bring peace, ease, a little more happiness and comfort to his life. And it's changed my life. Before, I had a lot of anxiety. I would go through bouts of depression.
Road rage,
that's the biggest one. And after I just noticed a difference in myself, how I reacted to things, because through the energy work, I was able to raise my vibration so things wouldn't affect me the same way as they would before. So somebody wants to cut me off, okay, that's fine. I'm just going to slow down because I know everything is in alignment and that I will get to my destination when I need to. Whereas before, you're going to get a finger, you're going to get all the words, you're going to get everything. And so it's definitely helped me just have a little more peace.
And an example that you've done Reiki before is just think of a time when you were young, right? And you had a stomach ache and you just took your hands and placed it over your stomach and then your stomach ache went away. Or a time where you've had a headache, you just took your hands, placed it over your head and then your headache went away. That's Reiki. But when you work with the Reiki practitioner or Reiki master, we're able to identify this energy and help you solve what it is you need to get to the root of. So like tonight I mentioned with the shoulder, but another popular one is knee pain. So if you have a lot of knee pain, this could be an indicator that it's time to start putting yourself first. Right? And a lot of times we're not putting ourselves first. So the way the body tries to get your attention is it might give you a really painful knee. And you think you need a knee surgery when no, you just need to start putting yourself first.
Right. Or you need to stop compromising or stop being stubborn. Each part of the body relates to something else. It can be done virtually because energy has no limits or boundaries. Just like if Ijama is thinking about me, my intuition might pick up on that and I can feel that energy. Reiki works the same exact way. I can send good energy to her. Just like if you can feel our energy through here because you are all very intuitive, that is the same way Reiki works. How do you not hold on to the energy as a master? We just decide that that's not what we're going to do. Just like how we picture like our bubble or anything like that. It's just deciding I am not going to hold on to this energy, and we set the intention to only give love and that the person receive love. And then we also do things to clear our space after, to make sure that we're not taking anything home with us.
Yeah, because it's very dangerous to hold on to that energy. No one wants to do that. And it's not, we just want to help each other grow and build, not collect.
Tanai has told me to stop being stubborn. Yes, I definitely set people straight. I don't sugarcoat anything when it comes to those sessions because you need to know what you need to know. So if we need to be like, hey, Michelle, get it together, stop being stubborn, you need to be a little bit more compassionate, then that's what comes through. And then I'm sure her knee pain will stop. She will know how she needs to navigate her life and she won't experience that anymore.
So, and that's something to think about. Pain necessarily isn't a bad thing. We have aches and pains in the body. Again, that's an opportunity for growth. And we can't grow in the comfort zone. It just doesn't happen. And so when you look at anything in nature, nothing grows in comfort, from giving birth to seeing the plant sprout. And so when we have pain in our body, that's an opportunity for us to grow, evolve, level up. And when you can look at it that way, you might welcome that wrist pain a little bit more. Like, okay, what can I gain from this? Or that shoulder pain. But again, it's just to get your attention to help you tap into that next.
Everything's working for you. Even the most painful things, you might feel like, I don't deserve this. What am I here for? Like, what is going on? It's always something trying to get your attention to steer you in the right direction or help you acknowledge something or complete something, all of that. How do I get a virtual session? You can book on the saltloungelb.com under the services and workshops tab, and we can hook you up with that. We do it through Zoom, just like this. It's really easy. I'm a giver who neglects myself in order to put those first. So these needs to be heard. Not bad, girl. I'm sure it's that left knee, which is all about compromise. And if you are sticking with it, that right knee might be hurting too, because that's that stubborn knee. And I think that's our time. I mean, we're welcome to chat, but I know it's 5 or what are we going to? 5:30, huh?
I forget.
Oh, we got a little more time.
We got a little more time?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's have some more fun then, y'all. This is great.
Let's see. I used an angel deck later that night. I heard voices that sounded like my mom and my brother talking. The next morning, they told me they were asleep and were not talking. I was scared. I'm not going to lie. Would that still be considered my intuition? Yep. Because you could be feeling their energy, and that's the way you can interpret that. Card decks are a great way to explore your energy. They help you tap into your intuition. So I like to use oracle cards. They have pictures and they're very vibrant. And so I just look at the messages. Sometimes I read the book that comes along with it, but I just listen and feel what the cards are telling me. So if you have ever been interested in oracle cards or tarot cards or anything like that, pick them up and see what your intuition is telling you with each pull of the cards.
I think one of the things to remember is just whenever we're getting messages or we're feeling things, it's never to punish us or harm us. It's always to help us go forward, evolve, and grow. And so when we can kind of put that fear down, then it allows us to be willing to explore. But I think the biggest thing is a lot of us are like, I don't want to know, or I don't want that, or that's a bad thing. But really, sometimes you just have to veer slightly off track to know what it feels like to be on track. And that's why the pain is what it is right now, or that's why the reoccurring experience is what it is. It's because that's what it feels like to be slightly off track. So now you have a motive to get right back on track.
How do I recharge my Oracle deck? You don't have to. You are the power. You are the source. That's just a tool to help you tap into your intuition. So that's great that we all use, well, not we all, but some people use crystals, some people use decks, they use sage, Palo Santo. All those things are beautiful and great tools that people or Mother Nature created, but we have the power, and you are the one that gives the tools the power. So you don't have to recharge it. You just need to pick it up and shuffle and do your thing. Let's see. Yes, I like that advice. I'm the type that shuffles the cards until I get the ones I want. You cannot get the ones you want. Sometimes that's cool, but you have to take the messages. You got to trust that the messages are good for you. But sometimes when you shuffle, you still get that same card over and over, I bet. And it's like, oh, okay, I just have to settle for what's here. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Yes, that takes practice as well. Is every energy block able to be cleared? I would say yes, in time. Some things take a little more time than others. And also it's your ability to do the work. We're here just to hold the space and assist you with the tools in the clearing, but we can't clear anything that you aren't willing to clear. We can assist you with that. But if you're set on going back to John, who's broken your heart 4 or 5 times, I can't do anything about that. There's no Reiki. There's no anything that's going to help you do that unless you decide, hey, I want to move on from this and I want to take control of my life. If you resist, then nothing's going to work.
And that's a saying too that we always tell our students is what we resist persists. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like no getting around it. Let's just surrender and just go forward. But if we're fighting it or ignoring it, it's just going to stay there. It's just going to persist.
Yeah. Any other questions about recognizing your intuition, anything like that? I feel like you two would have tips to gracefully move forward from friendships that are no longer serving you. Yeah, I've had to do that before. So I told somebody the other day, and this helped me too, because I think a lot of us are so used to drama and things ending in like a huge like explosion. So if you know that a relationship isn't serving you but there's nothing that's causing this argument or this breakup or anything, just kind of distance yourself and just move forward. Just like move on with your life. You're going to be cordial. It doesn't have to be a blow up, but just acknowledge that just simply acknowledging that it's not for you shifts the energy. And if you don't allow yourself to put anything else into that, then it makes it easier to walk away. And it might help you to know that once you release that friendship that's no longer serving you, you make space for something that is more fulfilling for you. So just know that there's something else on the way.
And sometimes some people are just supposed to be around for a season, you know, just to be with you where you're at in that current space, but maybe they're not continuously growing and working on themselves like you are. You can't hold space for everybody, especially when it comes to, you know, your growth. And so knowing that, you know what, I might have outgrown this relationship. Again, it doesn't have to be a bad thing where they, you know, took your favorite shoes and didn't return them. It's just like, you know what?
Right. And some people, everybody's in a different place in their journey. You may have been doing the work. You may have been making sure that you don't allow things in your life that set you off or trigger you or anything, but somebody else might be doing that every day. And then they want to share that energy with you. It's important that you continue to push forward and let them be where they are. And if they decide to do that same work, they can catch up and y'all can meet again. But sometimes it just is what it is. And you just got to keep going forward. But that doesn't mean it doesn't suck. So I'm not saying that friendships moving on is sometimes just like a breakup. It hurts just as bad, but it'll get better. It'll get better. Yes, protect your energy, especially the threes. Especially the threes, because y'all will be feeling everything. Me too. Also, advice for the threes. I know for me, once I feel things, I want to do something about it. So if I feel like my friend, like, oh, she's so sad and this and that, and that's great to be a great friend, but sometimes you have to honor other people's processes and honor that they're on their journey and that there's things that they need to experience, their life lessons, and not interfere with those. And I think threes, it's easy to interfere with somebody's life lessons, like, oh, I'm just gonna protect them because I feel what they're feeling, or I'm gonna save the day. And that's not your responsibility all the time.
Because
So yeah, be mindful of that.
yeah, because in that space, that might be where that breakthrough idea comes from for them. That might be, in that moment of whatever they're going through, that next idea or that inner drive to do better for themselves might be sparked in that moment. And if you come and save the day, then they might miss that opportunity. And so it's so important, to be there for someone, but not necessarily always holding space, because that's very draining. And yeah, it could be a lot.
Right. And then you take on those life lessons, and now you're both trying to figure out grandma's situation, and grandma's not even your grandma. And then you're just in a whole mess.
Or the cat, right? The cat's got a broken leg, and now you're trying to pull money from savings to take care of someone else's cat.
And you done worked on your money issues, and now you've got money issues. Like, it's a hot mess. So just
And then the cat runs away.
honor people's life lessons and their boundaries. When we're referring to threes and fives, we went over the different types of clairs, or ways you can recognize your intuition. So they would be people who have visions, clairvoyant, people who hear things, clairaudient, people who feel things, clairsentience, and then there's taste and smell, clairgustance and aliens. Let's see, I've got to go. Thank you, Gabrielle. Threes are empaths, but maybe Tanai and Wes can remind us of the clear. Yep, there you go. Yes, so you can determine what kind of intuition you have. Do you see things? Do you feel things? Do you hear things? Taste, smell, or you might do all of them, and that's wonderful.
And it's cool because sometimes they'll shift. You just go through a period where you're hearing, but not really seeing.
Mhm.
And then you're feeling, and then not really feeling. But again, we're always evolving, we're always growing. And so it's okay if it comes and goes, but wherever you're at, just have fun with it.
Yeah, just honor it.
Yeah, that's really what this is about. It's like the more fun you can have with your energy, the more you can flourish with it.
Yeah. Any other questions or anything? I think I speak for all to say that your synchronicity is. Aw. How can we use our intuition to attract someone who could be our person or our partner, our person?
We have
Okay.
a workshop on that.
Yes, a manifestation.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Okay, so I think
you tell our story. Well, your story, but it's similar because we kind of did this when we attracted each other.
Okay, so I don't know if I would use my intuition with this. I guess so, because I decided what I did want and what I didn't want. And I really had to listen to myself. So I would say feeling things. So that would be clairsentience, how I felt around certain people and acknowledging like what I did and didn't want. And then I made a list. I made a list of the qualities that I wanted in somebody. I wrote it all down. I gave myself, I think, 15 qualities that I wanted in a person, characteristics. And because I said I didn't want to be too greedy, so I didn't do 20. And you have to be specific. And I left some things open-ended because I said, oh, I don't care what kind of hair the person has. Well, this person has no hair. So if there's something that you are really specific about, put it on your list, because if you focus on that with positive intention and you're like, I know this is what I want, then that is what will manifest. And you have to feel, trust, and believe that it will happen. I didn't know Wes had done something very, very similar, and he manifested me as well. So I think just by putting the energy into that, we just attracted each other in that way. But it started, I guess, with the intuition and knowing, okay, this doesn't feel good to me anymore. I don't want any more of that. Or this feels good. I like this in this person. I don't need the whole person, but I would like that characteristic in the person that's my person. Yes. Okay. So also, I slept with that note under my pillow because my dream state is very heightened, that clairvoyance. So I slept with it under my pillow until I intuitively felt it was time to release it. And that's when I was like, okay, universe, bring this person to me. So I put it on my pillow, letting it go into my dream state, knowing I would manifest that person. And then I released it and let it go. Both of you are being Aries. Do you feel that your personalities clash? No, it kind of works in our favor because we kind of know we're kind of the same. So we know like when we need space and when we like our own space, we just honor that and acknowledge that.
I think it allows for more teamwork because sometimes I know if it's like my time to assist behind the scenes while Tanai is doing her thing on the front side, and then vice versa when it's my turn to be on the front and Tanai's assisting in the back. And so it just kind of allows us to navigate, because as an Aries, I think as all of us really, we're all, we all have opinions. We all want to be leaders and share. But what's cool about it with us is we just kind of know when one of us is really on. Like, for example, we have our seasons. So you might have a season, right? So like, a certain time of year when you're hot, like skin looks good, hair looks good, you're feeling good. It's your season, right?
Yeah.
Well,
our seasons are opposite.
Yeah.
I'm a fall person. In the fall, y'all know the heat is coming. I am having my things in order. I'm on top of my game. The fall is my time, and like the beginning of the winter. Wes, he's more spring, summertime person. So I'm hot in the fall and in like the winter time. And then I know, okay, after that, I'm going to cool off because I did my thing. And then he's the one like shining in the spotlight. We just work together as a team. I think people think because of like the Aries and the fire, and you hear Aries cussing people out all the time, that we probably do that, but we've learned to manage that fire. And it's like, I don't want to hurt him. He doesn't want to hurt me. So like, that's not an option here. We have to go meditate, go walk, do what you need to do. And we communicate. So
and I think checking in with your partner, because even before the workshop, hey, how's it going in your head? Because it's one thing to ask somebody how you're feeling, but how are you in your mind right now?
How's your spirit?
Yeah, how's your spirit doing? How's your heart doing? When you start getting down to specifics, you can really help not only your partner, but help yourself. And so communication.
Yes, let's see. So if you want to tap into your intuition and you have like a specific question that you want to fill it out in the moment, an exercise that you can do is simply close your eyes, get yourself grounded, how we took a few deep breaths in the beginning, and then ask your question. So if you are clairsentience, close your eyes, take a deep breath, put your hands over your heart, and then feel how you feel once you ask that question. Or if you are somebody who's clairvoyant, what you can do is ask your question and close your eyes and see maybe the answer in your mind's eye. See if you have any visions. See if you get anything. And if you're somebody who's clairaudient, then just listen to what that answer is.
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna add anything. I thought I had something to add, but I don't.
Don't use your clair of taste as an excuse to binge on food because you're like, I'm trying to figure out the answer, so I'm eating all the food. It don't work that way. It does not work that way. Doghouse or wherever you're eating is not going to give you the answers to your questions, but you'll know how the person's feeling who's cooking the food.
But speaking of taste, there are some ways to find out how you're feeling through taste and cravings. And so one of the things that we really tell our students in particular is pay attention to if you have a craving for just salty food. That's food. Mm-hmm. You always craving some salty chips, some salty pistachio nuts or something salty. Well, what this is an indicator of is this is your intuition telling you, hey, you know what? It's time to stop doing the same old routine and switch it up a little bit. So looking for some new excitement in your life is a way that your intuition is trying to communicate through food cravings.
Mm-hmm. Also sugar, that's one to like experience joy and experience fun. Sometimes salt and like crunchy things can relate to anger. So you might want to check in on like, what am I like repressing? What else? And everybody knows like a good comfort dish, like that makes you feel like home, all those things, all those mean things. And you can use your intuition based off what you're eating.
Dairy, that's a big one. If you love ice cream or you just have a cheese, for example, this is your intuition telling you that you need some nurturing.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, Our mom, breast milk, you know what I'm saying? That dairy is that nurturing energy. You know how you feel if you have like a big thing, a big platter of cheese and crackers, you just feel like nurtured after, you feel comforted after. And that's an indicator that, you know what, you can be a little bit more gentle with yourself. Maybe you can start carving out more time in your week to just have that nurturing already built in, so you don't have to rely on the cheese and the ice cream, even though those are some good things.
Yeah.
But so these are just some opportunities where you can use that taste to figure out what it is that your spirit needs most in this moment.
Yeah. But we appreciate you all so much. It looks like our questions have slowed down. If you want to hit us up, you can find us here at the Salt Lounge LB on Instagram, or my personal Instagram is Dopeness Divine on IG.
Mine is King Wizard Energy on IG.
And yeah, we're available. If you need some Reiki or anything, y'all know where to find us, the Salt Lounge LB.
And check out our online. Oh, we got a code for you guys too. So
I haven't made it yet. I'm going to be transparent, because before we're like, we should offer them a code or something. So if you do want to learn anything on soul work, we will offer 20% off for any classes or anything. The code will be compound LB. I'll do it right after this class. So give it about an hour. And then if you're interested in using it, you can use it.
Yeah, just as a thank you for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, y'all didn't have to do this. You didn't have to show up or anything. We could have been talking to ourselves. So we appreciate you.
Thank you guys all so much for being here. Thank you so much, Tanai and Wes. I know that I feel very validated today. I will definitely not take any excuses to indulge in my intuition. But thank you all for being here, and we really hope you enjoy the rest of your evening and weekend, and we hope to see you virtually here at Compound again soon. So thank you all. See you guys soon. Bye, y'all. Bye, everybody.